Hey folks, welcome to Economic Observations. My name is Chris. So glad you can join me tonight. It is Saturday, it is the 18th of July, and thanks again. This video is sponsored by the Tanzania School Fdn, a nonprofit near and dear to my heart. In the description below, you will find links to learn more. Let's get started. Today we're going to talk a little bit about the uncertainty going on in the market and why I am bearish. Again, I am no financial advisor. These are just my thoughts. I agree with David Tice. He says now is not the time to invest in the stock market or in Bitcoin. We are in uncharted territories. The pandemic is not over, even though people in the United States are acting like it is. It is growing exponentially through all 50 states, especially through unvaccinated Americans. But it doesn't mean just because you got vaccinated that you are 100% protected. There have been 79 deaths of vaccinated people in the state in which I live, which is Massachusetts. So everyone, please take care. But with this uncertainty, things are going to hurt again economically. And I'm not quite sure that there's going to be any more help available. Restaurants are going to be doomed because as the cases rise and as more and more people flood hospitals and more deaths occur, people are going to hunker down again. They're not going to go to those music venues or those theaters or those restaurants. And if restaurants think they are finally in recovery, they may very well see a huge setback, especially come fall, especially in the part of the country where it gets cold. I don't know if many of them are going to survive this. In Texas, we also have a case of monkeypox. What is monkeypox? It's another respiratory illness. It is transmitted through respiratory droplets as well. A man coming from Nigeria who flew from Nigeria to Atlanta and Atlanta to Dallas was diagnosed with monkeypox. The CDC is acting quickly, trying to get in touch with people who were on his flight. They say that he is in isolation in a hospital in Dallas and they don't think he poses a major threat. But folks, what the hell is going on around here that can really wreak havoc on our already fragile economy? People say, the economy is back, the economy is strong, we're going to end all of these programs and we're going to stop the quantitative easing. But folks, we can't do that. And if we do, major corrections are going to happen and the whole world is going to crash. I did a video on how much power the Fed has. And in that video, I talked about the very imminent, the greatest depression of all time was so close to us in 2008 and again in March of 2020. The debt was going to kill everybody, corporations, citizens, people all across every sector, every business, everywhere. We were going to be in a major Great Depression, unlike we've ever seen before. But this is how fragile our economy is, and it's really scary. And this pandemic is not over. I don't think we're going to see lockdowns and shutdowns like we did in early 2020, but people are going to draw back and they are going to be reclusive again and they are going to stay home to protect themselves and their family. And just as schools are going to open in September and corporations are calling their workers back, this could be a very dangerous time. The stock market was down 300 points on Friday due to the uncertainty in the world right now. And it's not just in the United States. There can be major economic ripple effects in Southeast Asia where there are more deaths now than there were in India a few months ago. There's going to be more supply chain disruptions. If things are made in Southeast Asia, well, they're not going to be shipped here in time. And there's going to be all sorts of ramifications. Remember, a lot of these countries don't have access to a vaccine right now, so they are 100% vulnerable. And with all this uncertainty, things are gonna get a little shaky. Why do I say don't buy stock in Bitcoin? Because it saw exponential growth last year. People had extra money, people had time, and people wanted to get in on the action. FOMO was taking place in all sectors, and the bubble is in all three major sectors, which is the bond market, the stock market, and real estate. It is insanity that people are buying homes paying $40,000 over asking price. They are just asking for trouble. But as many people leave the suburbs and start shifting back into the cities, we're seeing rents skyrocket like never before. And what's going to happen to a senior who's on a fixed income, or anybody who's on a fixed income? What happens to the struggling single mother who is being evicted? Where are they going to go now that the rents are skyrocketing? We are in for some really, really serious, tough times unless they do more of this QE, which, I'm not a fan of. It's kicking this gigantic can down the road. And we've kicked it down the road, but no one wants the dead end to happen on their watch, right? Even our founding fathers back in 1944 in Bretton Woods, when they devised of this scheme, they knew it wasn't going to last forever. And it's still not going to last forever. And the only way out is if they keep printing money. And I don't know when it's going to end. And you know who I feel really sorry for? I feel sorry for students with loans. And it's not only the students with loans, because Sallie Mae has caps on what they will give a student. So say a student goes to a private school, which now with room and boarding can run upwards of $65,000 a year. The student might get some financial aid, they might have some scholarships, they might get student loans, so let's say of $20,000 cap, because that's what the loan issuers feel that they can pay back. And what happens to the balance of the $30,000? It has to come from the parents. And many parents take their own student loans for their children. They take second mortgages on their houses, or they refinance their house. And now those parents, they're in their 50s now, and they lost their job and they can't get back in the job market. Maybe they have health issues, or a disabled child, or a parent that they're looking after. Whatever the case may be, it's the parents that are having a really hard time paying these student loans back. And there are thousands of parents who are trying to claim bankruptcy, and those student loans will not be waived. Now listen, I have 3 kids. They all went to school. They all graduated. 2 of them have their masters. But all my kids paid off their debt, and they took what they can afford, because I encourage them to go to a school that we can afford. I lost my job. My daughter was a freshman in college, and I had 2 sons in high school. One that was going to make his determination of where he was going to school that September. So I was going to have 2 kids in college at the same time. And I had to sit down and talk with him, and he couldn't go to his first choice. He couldn't go to the better school because we couldn't afford it anymore. And when they ask about your income, they see my income from the previous year, regardless if I didn't have that income going forward. And they base all your financial aid on your past income, not your present situation. So my son ended up going to a school that was affordable. We had a small college fund for all of them. It didn't cover all of it, but the longer I was unemployed and the less income we had, the more financial aid and grants and scholarships that were made available to them. Yes, they had to take out their student loans, but they paid it back. They paid them back all within, a short period of time, because we encourage that, right? Don't be in debt. Don't take out money that you can't afford to pay back. And thankfully, I was in a situation where I didn't have to borrow money. But people, like folks, you can't send your kids to school that you can't afford. And that's just the reality. And please don't take that second mortgage, and don't refinance your house. Because if some of the economists that say what's coming comes, every job across all sectors will be vulnerable. Every sector will be vulnerable. And let's face it, every corporation out there during this past year when employees were working remotely, every single company out there thought about robots and artificial intelligence and technology to replace you. Every single company. There's going to be fewer and fewer jobs available. And you never know when yours can be one of them. All right, folks. Gold and silver have always been a great hedge against fiat currency. Please don't start investing. If you haven't invested in stock and Bitcoin, corrections are going to come. And wouldn't you rather take that gain and put it in a money market account or an account that gets like 4% than lose 40%? And I don't want to hear that people want the stock write-off. Oh, I get the tax write-off if I lose money. Who the hell wants that? You want to gain money, pay the taxes, and have a profit. Be careful, folks. There's a lot of stuff that, they're not telling us. The CPI, the jobs report, the unemployment numbers. I don't believe any of them. Just be careful. Be your own central bank. We hear too, just-in-time logistics, right? Everything is just-in-time logistics, and we've had supply and demand issues all across the country, across everything. So why not have extra food in your house in case that just-in-time delivery doesn't make it to the supermarket and you can't buy any food? Just a thought, everything is fragile right now. And my heart goes out to people who overextended themselves and they were told that everything's going to be okay. And that this is the way the economy works, right? Go out and borrow. But you can't grow forever. The only thing that grows like that is cancer, and then it kills you. Be careful. All right, folks, have a wonderful day. I hate to talk about this stuff, I really do. This is just a public service announcement and to get people to think. Thanks so much for watching. As always, I appreciate you. Have a great day, and we'll talk again real soon.